You did not stumble upon this by chance. This message was already carved into the scrolls of divine timing before your heart even cried out. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. What you are about to hear is not an echo of wishful thinking. It is a heavenly decree forged in the fire of eternal love. Heaven's decree. Your love story is not over is not a sentence, it is a resurrection. The fact that these words are reaching your soul in this moment is proof that destiny is still breathing. A miracle is still moving. And love, true love, has not given up on you. There is no randomness in this arrival. This sacred moment is the result of celestial timing and intersection of your soul's ache with heaven's answer. The journey that has led you here hath been long, and though you may have doubted whether the promise was ever real, heaven has not doubted you. You have been marked by love since the beginning. And this message was sent now, not earlier, because the conditions of your heart, the readiness of your spirit, and the breaking of spiritual interference have aligned for this precise unveiling. There was a divine interception on your path, not to punish you, but to protect you. Your steps were detoured. Your feelings were confused. Your desires felt delayed. But this was no accident. Heaven stepped in to shield you from a false restoration. You were kept from re-entering a cycle that would have buried your soul's light. The silence you experienced was actually angelic strategy. The absence wasn't rejection, it was redirection. I, Archangel Michael, speak now not alone, but with the full counsel of heaven standing beside you. Your ancestors have whispered in dreams. Your angels have touched your skin through chills and shivers. Your higher self has burned with knowing, even when your mind doubted it all. You've seen the same names, heard the same songs, felt the pull toward something greater. That was not imagination, it was the language of the divine trying to get through. There is urgency now. The energies are no longer concealing what's been hidden. The veil is lifting. The person you once longed for is seeing what they were blind to. The hands that once manipulated the threads of your love story are losing their grip. The tide is turning. And this moment has not come gently, it comes like thunder rolling through the spirit realm. You are standing on the threshold of truth, and heaven is commanding it to be known. Today, breathe. Listen with your soul, not just your ears. You were summoned here not to hope blindly, but to receive with clarity. Stay to the end of this message, because by the time the final word is spoken, you will understand why I, Archangel Michael, stepped in now today to deliver the decree that your love story is not over and the miracle is already in motion. You're not imagining this. What your spirit has been sensing, what your body has been aching with, what your dreams have been echoing, it is all real. It has all been divinely orchestrated. This moment, this message, this sacred encounter, none of it is a mistake. You were summoned, not by algorithm, not by coincidence, but by heaven's divine decree. This is your sacred interception, your divine interruption. Your soul cried out for clarity, and heaven responded not with silence but with this voice. My voice. I am Archangel Michael, and I speak now because the heavens have sounded a trumpet over your life and over your love. The decree has been written. The veils are thinning, and your miracle is already unfolding beneath the surface of what you can see. You have been living under the weight of confusion, waiting for a sign that it's not over, doubting if the love you gave was in vain, wondering if you imagined the connection, or if your heart deceived you. But I come bearing this truth. You did not imagine it. The love that pulsed between your souls was written before time. It was real. It was sacred. It was attached. And now it is being restored. But not in the way you expected. Not by your effort. Not through your tears. But through heaven's alignment, heaven's intervention, heaven's order. There is a prophetic window opening in this very moment. A spiritual countdown that began when you said in your spirit, "I can't carry this anymore." That surrender, that moment of release, it triggered a heavenly shift. For some of you, that moment happened days ago. For others, it was last night. But heaven heard it. The angels gathered. And I, Michael, was sent forth with sword in hand to war on your behalf, to silence the sabotage, to cut through the fog, to release the chains that have kept you from the love that was always meant to find you. You are not abandoned. You are not unchosen. You are not unloved. You are, right now, being pulled into alignment. This is not a message of wishful hope. This is a declaration, a holy interruption, an energetic command that pierces through timelines and confusion to bring you back into divine memory. You forgot who you were. They forgot who you were. But heaven did not forget. Your tears have been recorded. Your sacrifices remembered. Your prayers echoed in realms unseen. And now the answer comes, wrapped not in another test, but in a truth you cannot ignore. Something is shifting internally and externally. You may not see it with your eyes yet, but your spirit has already felt the tremble of it. You may have noticed things falling away, conversations ending abruptly, energies pulling back. People who once seemed deeply tied to you suddenly feel silent, distant, exposed. This is not a curse. This is divine filtration. What was draining you can no longer stay attached. What was deceiving you can no longer hide. This is the moment where love reclaims its throne in your life. Not the illusion of love, not the trauma-bonded repetition of love, but divine love, consecrated love, heaven-sealed connection. Let your soul recognize this. You are in the middle of a spiritual courtroom, and the verdict has already been declared. Your love story is not over. It has simply been waiting for the interference to be cleared. The time is now. The message is alive, and you were called to hear it for a reason that will unfold in ways you cannot yet imagine. So remain here. Stay open. Let my words break the confusion. Let my voice be the sword that cuts through every lie that told you it was done. Because it is not done. Heaven has only just begun. Type 777 in the comments if your heart feels this shift. This number is your sign of spiritual intervention and divine realignment. Something interfered. Something unseen, yet deeply felt. Something cloaked itself in false comfort and presented itself as help, but was seated in the soil of sabotage. This presence, whether a person, an energy, or a belief system, did not enter your life by accident. It attached itself in your most vulnerable moment, when your heart was wide open, when your soul was reaching for love, when your spirit was eager to trust again. It came in wearing the mask of alignment, but it carried the vibration of distraction. And now, I, Archangel Michael, must speak it plainly. This interference was not confusion, it was calculation. It drained you, slowly and silently. It wore the face of a friend, a lover, a mentor, even your own inner voice at times. It validated your fears, not your faith. It fed on your uncertainty. It whispered questions where clarity once lived. It did not push you violently, it guided you subtly, away from what was sacred. It wanted to own your energy. It sought to distort your discernment. And for a time, it succeeded. But do not feel shame. Do not carry guilt. What looked like weakness was actually training. Heaven allowed it to be seen so it could be severed. Many of you felt this interference as a third party in your love story. A person who entered, not to love but to distract. A voice in their ear. A shadow in their decisions. For others, It was emotional manipulation from your past and old trauma resurfacing to steal your worth in a moment of divine opening. And still, for others, it was the lie you were taught, that love must always cost you everything, that to be chosen, you must bleed. But I am here to shatter that lie. Love that costs your identity is not love, it is spiritual theft. Some of you saw glimpses of this sabotage. You felt uneasy around certain people. You had dreams that disturbed your peace. You heard words that didn't sit right in your spirit. That was your intuition. That was your soul sounding the alarm. You weren't overreacting, you were receiving warnings. You weren't paranoid, you were perceiving spiritual infiltration. But when no one else confirmed what you saw, you silenced your knowing. You gave benefit where boundaries were needed. And still, heaven protected you. Because the betrayal wasn't yours to carry. It was theirs to reveal. And it is being revealed now. What was hidden is being brought to the surface. You will see people slip. You will witness energy shift. Words once confident will become desperate. Silence will speak louder than conversation. And in that space between what they say and what your soul knows, you will finally see clearly. This is not a punishment. This is prophecy. This is the divine unmasking of interference that delayed your destiny. Let me be even more direct. Some of the resistance you've been facing, the on and off nature of your connection, the silence, the hot and cold behaviors, it wasn't your fault. It wasn't their full choice either. It was engineered. Whispered lies. Jealous energies. Energetic cords from past karmic entanglements. But now those cords are fraying. The grip is weakening. Your prayers, your fasts, your cries, they've broken something. And I am here to make sure it never returns. You see, betrayal doesn't always come with knives, it comes with delays. It comes with confusion. It comes with voices saying maybe this wasn't meant for me. But what was meant for you has not been lost. It was simply held behind a veil so you could recognize what was blocking it. And now you know. Now it is exposed. And once something is exposed in the spirit, it begins to unravel in the physical. Do not run after the mask. Do not try to re-explain your value. Stand still. The unmasking has begun. And as the illusion falls, your clarity will rise. You will no longer have to question where the interference came from. You will simply know because heaven made sure you saw it, so that you never again fall for it. Type 444 if you're ready for every false attachment to be broken. This number signals angelic protection, exposure of deceit, and the cleansing of hidden interference. That sign you saw wasn't a coincidence, it was confirmation. The dream that left you shaken, that number you kept seeing, that strange sensation in your chest right before the phone lit up with their name, none of it was your imagination. You were not being dramatic. You were being divinely informed. Heaven hath been trying to speak, and your soul has been listening even when your mind doubted. You've seen the symbols. You felt the shift. And now, I, Archangel Michael, am here to translate the spiritual signs into holy understanding. There was a night, perhaps more than one, when you woke up at 3:33 a.m. for no apparent reason. Your heart raced. Your skin tingled. You looked around the room, but nothing was there. And yet everything was there. The veil was thin. The angelic realm was near. That was your spirit being summoned. That was your higher self being activated. That was me standing at the edge of your reality, whispering what could no longer be delayed. 333 is not just a number. It is a gateway. It is divine communication echoing the trinity of past, present, and future, calling you back into alignment. You saw butterflies in strange places. You saw crows gathering, staring. You walked past a stranger and heard your person's name out of nowhere. You watched a video, and the words matched your thoughts exactly. You found feathers in your path. Doors slammed without reason. Water overflowed in dreams. You saw fire. You saw snakes. These are not random occurrences. These are spiritual alerts. Symbols from the divine. Butterflies spoke of your soul's rebirth. Crows of ancestral protection. Fire warned of purification. In eggs. Oh, beloved, the snakes were the betrayals being revealed before you even understood the source. Angel numbers 111, 222, 555, they followed you. Showed up on receipts, on clocks, in phone numbers. You thought maybe it was just a coincidence. It wasn't. Each one was a vibration, a code, a message. 111 to remind you that your thoughts were creating. 222 to affirm divine alignment and sacred union. 555 to warn that massive change was not coming, it had already begun. Every time you saw them, your angels were waving flags from the heavens. They were saying, look, look, look again. Some of you have felt sudden waves of exhaustion right after thinking about someone. Others of you have felt your palms burn, your crown tingle. You felt heavy after interacting with certain people, even if the conversation seemed innocent. That's not fatigue, that's spiritual sensitivity. Your body has become an antenna, a temple, a barometer for divine communication. You're not weak. You're awakening. You're not crazy. You're clear. Heaven has been using your body as the final line of truth when your mind couldn't make sense of it all. Do not ignore the confirmations anymore. Do not pray for clarity, and then dismiss the signs as random. You are not being teased, you are being trained. Every object that broke, every light that flickered, every pet that stared into the corners of your room, they were messengers. They were revealing that something was present, and not everything present was pure. You've been living inside a battlefield dressed as normal life. But now you're waking up, and every sign was sent to ensure you wouldn't miss the exit when it came. And now you're here. You're listening. And the signs will only grow louder. Not to frighten you, but to free you. The illusions are unraveling. The connections that once felt so real are being redefined. The people you swore were soulmates may have only been soul lessons. But the real union, the real breakthrough, it's still written. It's still on the way. And heaven is making sure you won't be deceived when it arrives. You will know by peace, by confirmation, by the absence of confusion. Type 111 in the comments if this section spoke to the signs you've been seeing. 111 affirms that the veil is lifting and your angels are guiding you into clarity. It is already happening. The divine unmasking has begun. What was once cloaked in charm, distraction, or false alignment is being torn down in front of your very eyes. But listen closely, this unveiling won't always come with loud drama or grand confessions. No, it will come in quiet slips, sudden changes in behavior, accidental truths, a wrong word spoken at the wrong time, a moment of silence that speaks more than 1,000 explanations. This is heaven's way. When the mask falls, it falls with spiritual precision, not emotional chaos. And I, Archangel Michael, am overseeing every unveiling to make sure you see what you once could not. For some of you, the truth will surface through a conversation that feels strangely timed. You'll receive a message that confirms what your spirit already suspected. You'll overhear something not meant for your ears, but meant for your soul's freedom. For others, it will happen in a dream, A dream so vivid you wake up knowing you didn't just imagine it, you experienced a divine glimpse. The face behind the mask will appear. Their intention will become clear. The confusion will break like a cracked mirror, and what is revealed will no longer fit back into the frame of your past illusions. You do not need to chase this exposure. You don't need to argue your case. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone. You only need to see. Stay aligned. Stay grounded. Stay obedient to what your soul already knows. The unmasking is not your battle, it is mine. The truth is no longer waiting, it is walking toward you with the authority of divine timing. And when it arrives, it will be unmistakable. No more signs hidden in shadows. No more pretending that things are what they are not. What is real will rise. What is false will fall. Heaven is already moving. Can you feel it? The conversations that once strained you are fading. The emotional control someone once held over you is slipping. They can feel the spiritual protection around you rising. They can feel the energy they used to manipulate becoming inaccessible. And now, desperation is replacing confidence. They will act strangely. Some will retreat. Some will lash out. Some will pretend they don't notice the shift. What they do, they all do. Because when Archangel Michael steps in, the spirit world trembles. And I am already here. There is a sacred power in witnessing without reacting. That is your posture now. Watch without chasing. Know without explaining. Let heaven do what it does best, bring divine order to spiritual chaos. This unmasking is not a punishment. It is justice. You have waited long enough. You have prayed with tears. You have begged for truth. And now the truth is choosing you. All that was hidden is being dragged into the light because you are no longer willing to live in falsehood, and heaven will not let you. This is why it had to take time. The mask could not fall until your heart was ready to see without rescuing. You are strong enough now. You are clear enough now. You will not run back into the fire. You will stand, not in anger but in knowing. And from that sacred stillness, truth will flood your life like dawn breaking over the remnants of a long, exhausting night. And as it rises, you will remember who you are, not just who they pretended to be. Type 999 in the comments if you are ready for every hidden truth to rise. 999 is the number of divine closure, final cycles ending, and new light being revealed. I see what was stolen. I see what was delayed. I see what was buried beneath silence, manipulation, and unanswered prayers. I saw the love you poured into hands that trembled with confusion. I saw the promises you whispered in hope while shadows tried to convince you you were foolish. I watched you hold sacred space for someone who couldn't see the gold in your soul because someone else was speaking poison into their ears. And now I must speak what your heart was afraid to admit. You were robbed. Spiritually, emotionally, energetically. And you felt it in your bones, even if you couldn't name it. But I, Archangel Michael, name it now because what has been delayed is about to be delivered. You lost time. Time waiting. Time hoping. Time trying to prove you were worth fighting for. You lost sleep. You lost focus. You lost confidence. Some of you lost money. Others lost health. Many lost themselves in the process of loving someone who was spiritually entangled in a battle you couldn't fight. You tried to be their safe place, while they wrestled with shadows that had no intention of letting them see your light. And for a moment you believed maybe you weren't enough. But beloved, hear me clearly now, you were never lacking. You were hidden. Hidden by heaven. Not denied. Protected. Because if the connection had manifested when you wanted it to, it would have come poisoned. You would have poured into a cup with holes. You would have loved someone who was listening more to fear than to truth. You would have entered into a union that looked divine but was soaked in interference. So heaven allowed the pause, not to punish you, not to embarrass you, but to prepare you. You weren't being rejected, you were being preserved. The delay was divine. The silence was strategic. And the wait was for your protection. What you thought was lost is still alive in the spirit. The connection, if it was truly from the divine, is still under heaven's watch. But now, it must come through clean gates. It must return, if it returns, without manipulation, without masks, without outside interference whispering lies. Because now you've seen too much. You've grown too deep. You've suffered too honestly to accept anything that comes without truth. And that is what makes you dangerous to darkness. Because you can no longer be lied to. Let me affirm this. Nothing sacred is ever truly lost. What was taken from you will either be returned or replaced with something greater. And not just emotionally. You will see it in your peace, in your sleep, in your creativity, in your relationships, in your finances. What drained you will be reversed. What delayed you will be recalibrated. What discouraged you will become the evidence of your rising. Heaven owes you nothing, but heaven restores everything. Shift your posture now. You are not the victim of divine silence. You are the vessel of divine restoration. Look at your scars, they are glowing now. Look at your tears, they are birthing rivers of wisdom. You are not broken. You are becoming. And what is coming to you is not compensation, it is divine alignment catching up to the destiny you never stopped believing in. Do not fear that too much time has passed. Time bends for heaven. Divine timing does not follow your calendar, it follows your soul's readiness. And now, you are ready. Ready not just to receive love, but to recognize real love when it arrives. Ready not to chase, but to attract. Ready not to guess, but to know. Because heaven will never send confusion, only confirmation. Type 555 in the comments if you are ready to receive everything that was delayed. 555 declares change, restoration, and rapid movement toward divine completion. Can you feel it now? Something inside you has shifted. Something in the atmosphere has changed. It didn't arrive with fireworks or loud announcements, but it came like a whisper wrapped in thunder. Quiet but undeniable. Gentle but unshakable. This is your energetic breakthrough. This is the moment your soul has been preparing for, through every tear, every delay, every night you thought the silence would swallow you whole. I, Archangel Michael, declare this over you now. The chains have broken. The weight has lifted. The interference has been silenced. You are stepping into the stillness of divine power, and you don't have to fight anymore. It will look dramatic. It won't always feel like a movie scene. This shift is sacred, not loud. You'll notice it when you wake up and your chest doesn't feel heavy anymore. When their name crosses your mind, but no longer stirs confusion or longing. When you look back at moments that once broke you and feel nothing but peace. That's the miracle. That's the shift. It's not outside of you. It's within you. You are no longer who you were when the pain began. Your spirit has been upgraded. Your aura has expanded. Your discernment has been sharpened. You're no longer accessible to the same energies that once drained you, and they can feel it. Yes, they can feel it. The one who ghosted, the one who manipulated, the one who sabotaged, the one who lingered in your energy without intention. They can feel the silence, but this time, it is not the silence of confusion. It is the silence of sovereignty. You are no longer waiting. You are no longer begging heaven for signs. You've become the sign. You've become the shift. You've become the living evidence that God restores, that angels fight, that silence can be strength and peace is the highest form of power. There will be no announcement. There will be no apology that erases the ache. But there will be signs, internal confirmations that you've crossed the threshold. You'll feel it when you stop rehearsing the past. You'll feel it when music no longer opens old wounds. You'll feel it when your laughter returns, not because everything is fixed, but because you remembered who you are. And you will see it in your dreams, in your body, in your finances, in your clarity, in the way your energy responds to things that used to knock you off center. The spell is broken. The attachment has lifted. And the saboteur been silent. Do not chase the silence. Let it speak. Let it echo. Let it dissolve into nothing. Because your spirit no longer vibrates at that level of chaos. That old version of you, the one who questioned their worth, who waited for answers, who gave endlessly, is gone. You've crossed over. And now, everything must recalibrate around the new frequency you embody. Divine love will meet you at this level. Real connection will find you at this level. True restoration, sacred alignment, and heavenly recompense will flow to you not because you begged, but because you believe. And this is what makes this moment so sacred. It's not that everything changed overnight, it's that you change. Your posture changed. Your energy changed. Your spirit stood up and said, "Enough." And heaven responded. The angels moved. The interference broke. And now the path is open. You don't need to shout. You don't need to prove anything. Your peace is the proof. Your alignment is the announcement. Your stillness is the shift. Type 000 in the comments if you feel this shift. 000 is the number of divine reset, infinite possibilities, and alignment with Source. A new chapter begins now. Now hear me. Beloved, this is the moment right before the door closes on the old cycle forever. And with every holy ending comes one final test. The one last attempt. The final hook. The desperate reach of the saboteur who feels your liberation like a storm approaching. I must tell you plainly, not to scare you, but to arm you. Because it will return. That energy, that person, that pattern, it will reach for you again. But not because it belongs to you. Because it's losing control. It knows its access is expiring. And it will do everything to seduce you back into silence. Back into waiting. Back into hoping for what was never healthy. It will come dressed in apology. Dressed in changed behavior. Dressed in "I was just confused" or "I never stopped loving you." They'll say just enough to spark your hope, but not enough to bring you true peace. Because this is not about love, it's about energetic survival. That old cycle is dying, and it needs your attention to stay alive. Do not be fooled. This is not a divine return. This is a soul test. And I, Archangel Michael, stand now between you and deception, holding my sword of truth over your path. This is the moment that decides whether you rise or repeat. They'll offer peace, but it's poison. They'll use old language, familiar emotions, moments that once made you melt. And you'll feel the pull. Your heart will remember the softness. But do not confuse memory with meaning. You are not the same. You are no longer available for breadcrumb blessings. You are no longer available for spiritual confusion wrapped in charm. You've outgrown the lies. And heaven needs you to stand in the truth now. Even if it hurts. Even if it's quiet. Even if they beg. The final test is silence. The final test is stillness. The final test is, will you go back, or will you trust that what's ahead is holy? I must warn you of the tactics. Emotional bait bringing up old memories. Guilt reminding you of your loyalty. Charm appearing better, more healed, more present. Silence waiting for you to reach out first. Do not bite the hook. Do not fall into the trap of nostalgia. Heaven is not calling you back to familiar pain. Heaven is calling you forward to divine promise. This is your Red Sea moment. Look back, and you drown. Look forward, and you walk into destiny. There is a reason the interference is reaching again now. Because your energy is glowing. Your vibration has shifted. You've become visible to the realms of both light and shadow. And where light shines, darkness panics. This return isn't love, it's a test of your discernment. And you must pass it. You will pass it. Because now you see. Now you know. Now you feel the difference between real peace and spiritual anxiety disguised as connection. Let me remind you, silence is not weakness, it is divine power. You do not have to respond. You do not have to explain. You do not owe a reaction to anything that tried to destroy you spiritually. You owe yourself peace. You owe yourself healing. And heaven is watching how you navigate this final turn. Because what waits on the other side is bigger than restoration, it is rebirth. But you must prove that you will not go back to what broke you. Stand your ground. Let your silence speak. Let your healing be the proof. Let your peace be the prophecy fulfilled. And if you feel the hook reaching, if the temptation creeps in, call on me. I will war for your clarity. I will sever the cords. I will fortify your no. Because this is not just a test, it is the final severing. And once it's passed, the next chapter begins in fullness, not fragments. Type 888 in the comments if you're ready to pass the final test and walk into divine abundance. 888 is the number of completion, new beginnings, and spiritual reward. This is the decree from heaven. The cycle is broken. The energy is cleared. The restoration has begun. You have walked through the fire of confusion and emerged with eyes that now see truth. You have passed through the storm of deception and held on to the voice of your soul. And now I, Archangel Michael, declare over your life, you are no longer entangled in spiritual delay. You are no longer under the influence of what once bound your heart. You are no longer waiting, you are becoming. And this is where the miracle begins to take form. You have seen the interference. You have recognized the signs. You have stood still through the unmasking. You have released what was delayed, reclaimed your peace, passed the final test, and now, what is coming is not just restoration, it is divine justice. The person meant for you will either return in wholeness or be replaced by someone aligned with your current vibration. Your love story, as declared by heaven, is not over. It hath been rewritten in light, purified in silence, realigned by angels. The saboteur has been silenced. The spiritual resistance hath been cut off. And your next chapter is not a repeat, it is a reward. Declare this now with your spirit and speak it aloud if you are able. I am aligned with heaven's order. I am protected by divine truth. I protect only what is aligned, whole, and anointed. I release what delayed me. I receive what's destined for me. My love story is sacred, and heaven is restoring it now. The decree has been sealed. The angels have been released. Your name is written in the book of miracles for this season. Walk forward with abstinence. Don't look back. Trust what has been spoken here. And when you feel doubt creeping in, return to this message, and let your spirit remember that heaven itself sent this word for you. You are not forgotten. You are not waiting in vain. You are on the edge of everything you thought was lost, returning multiplied, purified, and divinely timed. Type Amen in the comments if you receive this. At 111, 333, or 555, whichever number has spoken most to your spirit today. These numbers declare activation, alignment, and angelic release.